Welcome to another part of my Motortown playthrough. Today we are back with Jemusi Semi again, and I decided to just take you along for the entire ride because I think there's still a bit of valuable testing to be done here. And part of it concerns the handling of this vehicle when you don't even have anything attached to it. The weird thing for me is that when it comes to steering, it goes from being super sluggish to just... I mean, can you see how much the back is swinging out? It's really weird. And if you're not careful about it, you're just gonna swing it around and... Ooh, that was weird. I wasn't even pressing the gas again, or even anymore, it just accelerated again. So something was a bit weird there. Basically, when the entire thing started spinning, I went off the gas and I didn't press it again, and it just still just launched me. Something is weird about this. Also, buses being buses again, being high maintenance, but also for a decent payout at least. So I'm not entirely sure about the Semi in that regard. Might also have to do with the other Jemusis, I cannot really tell. But something about this doesn't really feel right. Yeah, it just... at some point it goes. Maybe I have a weird setup on my vehicle. I have very stiff anti-roll bars, I have very stiff dampeners, but the standard suspension spring. Also everything lowered to minus 10 centimeters, so maximum lowness there. Still a lot of ground clearance after all, so that should be alright. But yeah, for a proper setup I might need to do a few more steps here. Anyways, before we go over to the coal mine, let's see how well this thing behaves with the Eastwood trailer. And maybe I should just switch it over. After all, I have stuff sorted a bit differently. I mean, the crowning achievement would be taking this trailer up to the oak logging areas. I think that would be amazing. But we're just gonna see if it can deal with the regular logs as well. Then again, having the shorter trailer and half as many logs already worked out pretty well. So this might just become my dedicated logging semi here for all of that stuff. Maybe I'll even get rid of the regular logging Jemusi. I don't expect it to get any other cargo, and yeah, if I go up there, I would rather take this one and at least the short logging trailer. I don't think this one would be working in the constellation as it is right now. I mean, I can try. Not gonna do that in a video because I think that's gonna be a bit too silly. But if this thing can hold itself and pull all the logs, which... I mean, why shouldn't it? Oops! That was me going a bit too far to the right there. Can I unjackknife myself here, or... yeah, should be alright. Everything else I'll have to see about. One thing that I'm really curious about, I talked about the whole bug with some vehicles being a bit iffy, especially the Jemusis, but also some of the other ones. If they actually fix the tire bug and the handling improves from some vehicles, maybe the whole thing that I did with my event recently, some cars might be more viable than what they are now. That would be interesting. I wonder if that's really all that's needed. It feels like some of suspensions, even the softer ones, if you race the vehicles, they often end up being a bit too springy. But it might really just come from this, and that might just be the cause of it all. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing that improved. Besides all of that, another thing that I recently tried was actually doing a bus route from Wagon to... oh Jesus. Not to Jesus, but to Gappa. And first thing to note there, the route is super complicated. You can't just go from Wagon down here to Gappa, which is just a tiny bit further north west. You actually have to go all the way around here, all the way up past Medium to Bayang, and hopefully you will even reach the gas station, and then you have to come back down. I don't know if it's viable at all, but even just the bongo that I tried to do this with, and yeah, I upgraded it, gave it a proper off-road tune, stronger engines. I tried to keep it on the light side, so no roof rack, no spare tire in the front, even though that thing looks kinda cute. And it still couldn't make it out of the valley in which that town is in. So all of that just ended up being a bit sucky, and I don't really know what to do about it. I heard about somebody being able to go through Guangjin, but I'm still waiting on confirmation if it actually was the entire town or just the area in front of it. After all, for the longest time we only had Guangjin with the construction site there. Still, even if we could make it in and out of there, I'm not entirely sure if I would want to. It's just such a tedious path to go through. Okay, gotta keep in mind that I don't want to go up the Jemusi trail again. I'm here for the regular logs. And I'm also apparently here to just spin out and almost destroy my car on the boulders here. But yeah, back on path. Anyways, where was I? I'm trying to get back to what I was talking about, but I think I was kind of done with most of the topic. The bus routes are a bit ridiculous, and there's really no good way to do that right now. If only we had an SUV in this game that would work well if it was equipped with a bus license, which so many people were against for some reason. Anyway, just bringing back some logs to the warehouse here, and yeah, we can load it up again. Maybe I should have opted for harder springs after all. This doesn't seem to be too nice to the Jemusi, but hey, it's doing it. Even if notably slower than before. So yeah, I think there's still a good reason to use the Titan for this. I think it should be a bit quicker. After all, it is quite a bit more powerful. But hey, we are going until we are not going. There wasn't even a rock there, what the hell? And it's likely gonna be a bit of a slow return, but gotta do it, gotta try it. Also, if you don't know what SUV I was talking about, I'll show you in a moment. It basically has bus written all over it. Believe it or not. Oh god. This feels mighty dodgy. So I think in terms of stability, there's still another good point for just using the larger semis. But this isn't even awful, this is just... yeah, it's working. Certainly. Also, another little thing is that I would really appreciate if they made the logs a bit longer. I mean, let me just put it into autopilot. These ones are 20 feet, and I'm pretty sure that the planks that you get out of them are like 12 feet or something. But you get so many out of them, it would be more sensible if these were 24 feet, so that you could kind of get like 2 planks out of one, or make it 25 feet or something. But yeah, trying to cut like 12 feet planks out of 20 feet logs kind of seems like a lot of waste, potentially. Because you can't really cut a second one out of it, you can only get the first one and the rest kind of goes into the shredder. Or another product, who knows. Okay, trying to not get too impatient on the serpentines here. Although honestly, if we had like a fast path down here, just a little shortcut from coming down from the top, I would definitely take it. Would likely feel like a ski jump ramp or something. And yeah, as per usual, when we come down here, there is a bit of a shortcut that we can take. Just entering the warehouse from the back, and I'm glad that tree didn't have a full hitbox. That kinda helped me out there. Just gonna pull it straight again. And that's gonna be it. Delivery done. That wasn't too bad. But yeah, I think there's still a good reason to keep the Titan for the off-roading part here. I mean, there's likely also gonna be a few other off-roading purposes for that in the future, so there's a good chance that it will be alright if I just leave it here and let it stay. Oh, I'm in the... I was in the vehicle spawner, that's why I couldn't despawn the vehicle here. But yeah, the SUV that actually has a bus written all over it, but cannot be used as a bus. I hate that I forgot to pull the handbrake again. Is this one right here. Would be really useful. It has like 8 seats or something. I mean, okay, one for the driver, but yeah, would really like to use that vehicle. It's definitely one of the best off-roading vehicles. And we definitely need something like that for bus driving now. Even if I don't think Wengjin will ever be something worth considering. Unless you're really going for 100%ing everything. Okay, now we need the Oldham. And just gonna go back here and grab it. What I found out is that these trailers actually look a bit ridiculous if you attach them to a full-size semi. Especially the Golima. I mean, you know what, let's quickly get that one. Just to show you. The Golima is such a long one, and I always underestimate just how long that thing is. I mean, look at this, it's almost the length of the trailer itself. So yeah, that's the thing. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. I have to really go quick now. So first we even have to make it to Guangjin. And then we can try to make it up into the coal mine area. I don't know if I'm gonna do everything today, but at least I wanna see how much trouble this entire thing is going to give me. Definitely a lot of trouble with staying just straight with this entire vehicle combo. Yeah, after all, this is the same capacity for dumped goods as the dumpy, and that one is working out perfectly well, so I don't see much of a problem just using that instead. It can make its way up to the coal mine, and with the restriction that this vehicle is going to be facing, especially some of the tight turns, this might not be such a good idea after all. I might have to try harder springs or something. Maybe it's my suspension. Maybe it's something off with this vehicle after all that makes it spin out so much. But it also kind of goes from ultra sluggish to unpredictable in a heartbeat. Yeah, even that was too much, but I was also in a stupidly high gear for what I was doing there. Let's try and take a little shortcut here. After all, we don't have all day, and I kinda spent half episode just trying out other stuff already. If you have the same issues with Jemusi, any variation of that, please let me know. But this feels like it's really doing something weird. Even if I don't accelerate, it's pretty hard to keep straight. And that's just something that I wouldn't expect from 6x4. When it comes to some of the similar issues that I was facing a while ago, I figured out that it was basically the flanker trailer that kinda really didn't help handling for some reason. I had brakes equipped, I had them fully cranked up with brake power, but it still jackknifed at so many occasions. The Jemusi basically feels like a tiny Golima. Also, fun fact about the name, and this is something that I had explained to me as well. Basically, it's based on a GMC truck. So, yeah. GMC, however, if you pronounce it in Korean, it's more like GMZ or Jemusi. So that's how that came to be. And that's kind of cool. And yeah, these trailers are definitely a bit spicy and bouncy, and so is my semi as well. Well, at least we are about to hit the trail, and therefore we shouldn't get up to these kind of spicy speeds anymore. Also just noticed that Railroads Online put out something else again. I know it's a completely different topic from this game, but indulge me for a moment. Okay, I'm gonna go down to 6 lock again, and that should be alright. Basically what we are doing now is another update, and since they like to give them names, this is apparently the loading screen and rights update. So finally introducing some admin options for servers and all of that. But seriously, making the update to loading screens the main part of your update. Just having another few sets of JPEGs in there, it's yeah, sure. That's the choice. But yeah, when it comes to Motor Town, I have a few criticisms of stuff, but overall I am amazed at what the team is bringing forth over time. Railroads Online, on the other hand, that's where you see a game that's just completely disassembling itself. So, while I am critical of this game as well, because I want to see it do well, it's a mild difference to something that's actually just really falling apart. So yeah, I just like to be, I mean, I can't really help it, but I'm just often critical about the stuff that I like, but, well, I still like it. Railroads Online is more like temporarily tolerated every now and again. But this is still good fun. I had my downtime where I just felt like I needed a break from it, but I don't know. Then again, I also just had a kind of bad week. It was quite exhausting, but hey, that week is over. Time to have a bit of fun. And it would be much more fun if I didn't just jackknife the thing all the time. And if you want to know just how good the Dumpy is at off-roading, you know this part here, this is one of those really run-killing parts for any supply run. The Dumpy fully loaded, at least mine, as far as I have configured it, it can pull itself up that thing. So if you go down to the bottom of that climb and just give it the beans with 15 ton of whatever loaded in the back, it's gonna make it up there. And that's almost I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. But hey, there's gonna be a reason why that truck has a heavy-duty engine in it. Also, when it comes to quote-unquote fixing this truck right here, to make it a really good off-roader with everything that's needed, you know what would really be required for this? I mean, given that last episode already showed that it is quite capable after all. What I thought would be required is first of adding heavy-duty engines to this one. And secondly, coming up with some weird drive shaft configuration that would allow you to also drive the wheels of the trailer. I think at that point it would be heavy duty off-roading. But I don't think that's really reasonable after all. But yeah, in a moment we should be able to see how much merit this thing has with this trailer. Because in the last update it could barely make the first climb up to the coal mine. Maybe I should just go back to 4 high gear. And immediately spinning out, yay, why not? That definitely helped me get there faster. Another thing I want to talk about, and I mean we are still gonna take a few minutes here I guess, so I might have the time. I heard from somebody mention that basically the whole 4 high, 4 low differential thing is basically a hack and that it shouldn't be able to do anything like that. I mean, yeah, some things like traction, the friction, all of that you need in order to even keep the grip. That's definitely something that has its limits, but overall these low and high configurations, they definitely help out quite a lot. In the end it's kind of just leverage, just with a few extra steps here. And leverage is not a miracle thing either, if there's always a payoff. Because basically if you gain leverage, so you have a longer lever over what you want to do, while it makes it easier to get something moving, it also means that you now need to move a lot more in order to do the same amount of distance on whatever thing you were trying to influence. And with gears and all of that, it's basically all of that whole thing, but with a fully rotational thing. So if you have a gear that's being driven by your engine and you're trying to use that to just get the force onto another gear, the larger that gear is, the more leverage your own driven gear has, but the larger your own driven gear is, the worse it kinda gets. But then the payoff is that the larger your driven wheel is, the less often you have to turn it in order to get a rotation on the other one. So yeah, what you gain in force, you end up losing in distance all the time. But yeah, let's see. I'm gonna try it with just momentum first. Okay, that didn't fully work, and also apparently the brakes on the trailer might be better than the brakes on my own truck here. Let's now go into a 6 low lock and see if we can make it up like that. And we are basically stuck. But yeah, I think that proves the point about the entire discussion with Semi and the trailer. After all, it was parked just a few meters from here. That's where you could purchase it, and then when you take it up the mountains, you could barely make it past that part. So it's easy to see why that would be disappointing. My first attempt was actually looking quite a bit better, just trying to do it with momentum. And that might take me up there. Yeah, usually what I do with a dumpy is I hit the brakes and I then just try to get in a lower gear and make it from there. But this thing doesn't even stay up there. I would kind of like to turn it around and go for another attempt, but there isn't really much space over here. Also, since we are in a new update, I might as well try something else that I noticed in this area. And that is the hitbox on that tree. Did they do anything about it? Yeah, apparently not. I'm currently stuck on that. But I also just reported it, I think, today or yesterday or something, so I hope that's gonna be dealt with before the update officially comes out. And we'll just be able to get closer to the tree, do a bit of good old tree hugging. Okay, full force again. 37. And the weird thing there is that for some reason it always tries to jackknife the trailer in the last moment. So if there's any way up there, it's likely with a winch. I think there might be some chance to do it just with truck itself and everything. I should really try to get the maximum distance out of there. To get it over the crest, I'm already too far, so if I put it like this, this is likely about as good as it gets. And I should maybe also pick up a winch controller. I think that might help. No idea, never used one of these. Just kidding. And at the end of the day, even if the winch now makes the difference between me being able to get up there or not, but it's certainly helpful. Do you really want to do this all the time? Next episode might be me taking the dumpy up here, and then I'm gonna show you how that's gonna look like. And I can also now just go into 6L lock. I don't think the Jemusi is doing anything at all here. And keep in mind, this is with an empty trailer. There's about 15 tons to be loaded onto this. Okay, I'm not entirely sure if this thing is gonna stay like this, but I mean, as long as it's at least semi consistent and doesn't immediately roll back down, I can do something like this. So yeah, using the winch I can make it up there. But I don't see this as a good option. Okay, now it's moving on its own power. But yeah, I think that's enough for the testing. Although, you know what? I know one place up ahead that I was always struggling with a dumpy, so maybe I'm gonna try that as well, but I think from that point on, that might be enough. I have my curiosity, but I don't think it's extending far enough to get me up to the very top there. Okay, that one worked out flawlessly, even with a low differential setting. When again, I'm also in locked mode, so that's already helping again. But I feel like a lot of the climbs here are easier to do with simply using momentum instead of trying to rely on enough torque and tire grip. But yeah, overall this already feels like a bit of a redemption tour for the Jemusi, not the path that I just went through where I needed the winch, but the stuff that I've done before, yeah. And yeah, this is the part that I was always struggling with the dumpy. And this one might actually do it. The problem with the dumpy was that in the muddy surface down there, I was completely losing my momentum, so that was really not working out. But now this one might actually get a bit further than I expected, so you know what, I'm gonna take the challenge, I'm gonna get up there. Or at least gonna see how far we can do so. It might have a few things over the dumpy after all. But I think the way back is gonna be absolutely hell with a 15-ton load. And as per usual, I'm just gonna stick around in 6 low lock. That's because that's helping out, and it doesn't do this thing quite as often. And yeah, in a lot of circumstances, it's actually pulling its weight. I mean, it's still a Jemusi after all, so I shouldn't be too surprised. Yeah, the Semi at the end of the day is really hard to pin down what it can and cannot do. The first part there with the first climb using the winch was really disappointing. But this now is working pretty well, so yeah. Good job on that front. But the main thing is that due to weight and traction, it's not gonna help that much once we get the weight compared to a rigid truck. So while that of course also has to struggle more with the additional weight, at least traction gets much more of a bonus with that. So we get all the struggle and maybe half a benefit here. Oh yeah, and this turn. Like this is at such an awkward downward angle. I'm trying to turn left and I cannot even get the vehicle to get around there. I got stuck here with a dumpy once and yeah, I had to reset. The reset spawned me backwards. I couldn't turn around and going forward or backward either. Just it didn't go the right direction and ended up just turning itself around again. By that I mean falling over. Okay, this used to be a very hard climb for the dumpy, and this one did it perfectly. So I guess it's really just a problem with the first little climb there, and everything else seems to be alright for the Jemusi, so yes, you always learn something. But yeah, the first real climb being so tough that it's almost impossible was already just a bit of a downer, so I guess that's where part of the problem came from. Can't really test out the rest of the trail if you can't get over the first hurdle. So I'm gonna call it here that the Jemusi is actually a pretty good truck after all. And I mean not just as a semi-truck, but also a decent off-roading vehicle. What a redemption tour. And yeah, apart from the first thing that needed the winch, the truck is definitely performed a bit better than the dumpy in some cases, so yeah. I don't know what to make of this myself, it seems a bit weird in some cases. I get that it might perform better on different surfaces, but as far as I'm aware, the first... where are we even? The first big incline up here, and then also I think the one coming around somewhere over here, I think it was. That's the same surface, so why did the dumpy struggle on one and the Jemusi on the other? I don't know. But yeah, here we are at the coal mine. And I may just have to take the one to Darsa Harbor. I mean, that's pretty irresistible. And in the end, yeah, it's not entirely twice the distance for a bit more, but you have to consider that maybe the first kilometer or something of this road, or not the first kilometer, but less than the first quarter is gonna be where it's really gonna, where you really have to be careful, and that's gonna be the majority of time that you spend on this delivery. Once you're up here anyways, if you go down this way or just further up to Lijo Harbor, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I should go to this point at some point and just measure the distance to either harbor and just see how much the actual distance there is. I mean, I can also kind of read it from here, but yeah. It's tough to say how much of a route is really tough, how much is easy, and if you're getting a better deal going to Darsa over Jeju with additional distance. But that distance, and that's my main point here, to make it clear, that last additional distance is really on the easy part, and everything else that you do before, no matter which harbor you go to, that's gonna be the tough one. Can I take the coal to Medium warehouse beforehand and then decide from there? I think that might be way easier. Anyways, that's gonna be from my end here. I think I'm gonna do the delivery in the next episode and just show you guys what that's like, or at least try to get the fully loaded truck out of this area. If we reach medium, I would definitely call that a success. If we don't, I don't know. But I think I cannot get around just loading for Dasa Harbor. I mean, look at that money. Anyways, that's something to figure out next time. Thanks for watching, have a good one, and till next time. Bye bye.